All right, well here I am at Augmented World Expo. This is my very first video interview. I was fortunate enough to sit down to one of the speakers that's speaking tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. here, Bob Van Loot from Kubrickology. And I would love to hear about what you're going to be talking about in your session tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. So I've done a art project recently, and that's about data that I'm gathering from the brain. It's like a dance and music project, and that's what I'm going to talk about, and what I'm hopefully also going to show. You can actually also see it online, chds.io, and that's what I'm going to talk about. It's like about the brain, about data, about big data, and I'm trying to ask the question like, gathering data from all kinds of data sources, what we like read all the time online. Actually, the data itself is nothing. It's just the thing that we do with it, and it's an art project around it. So if you look at the video and read the information around it, it will probably make more sense.
Very good. And how does it, tell me about your take on kind of AR, VR, where it's headed, what you're doing with that.
So when it comes to the art side of things, so I'm working both in technology and art. So the reason I'm interested in it is because I strongly believe that digital, not necessarily technology, but digital, I think it might become like a new discipline in art itself. And I think that deep learning techniques that are being used, especially in AR, VR, and what have you, AI, I think it's like a new dawn when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure how it will look, how it will work, but that's what I think and what I'm interested in, and then what my work is about. So that's why I'm interested in it.
Awesome. Just tell us, what are you working on now? What are the practical applications of what you're doing at your agency?
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now, so I have a range of in one hand I do I work for corporations. So they just have, I work as a strategic designer. So they have certain topics, certain problems that I try to solve. Can be anything, all technology related. And on the other hand, I have my more artistic work, because I think I like, because my background is in art, I like to keep making new artistic work. And with that, I'm aiming more to to answer that question that I just talked about. What does that mean if you just develop? How is art developing? How is the digital world being part of that? I'm trying to find the answer. I'm looking for over a year right now. I don't have the answer yet. I'm just it's my search towards an answer.
And what do you think about data visualization? So I know that it sounds like your project is sort of around that, and I think it's a growing field, and more corporations are looking for data visualists, people who can come in and take huge amounts of data and create visualizations that will help them with actionable insights, right? What are your thoughts on the future of that, or do you have what do you think about that?
So that's actually very funny that you bring it up, because I do that in both the things I do. So on one hand, I do that just really for my corporate work, but on the other hand, when it comes to more artistic work, the big problem is, of course, that you have with visualization is multi-dimensions. So for example, huge set of data have maybe over 100 or what have you, or 1,000 dimensions. And you somehow need to massage that data in a way that you can show that in a 3D space. And that brings some kind of, it makes everything very subjective, and that makes it interesting for me, right? So you can't visualize actual data because it's too complex, it's too much. So you need to do something to it to actually make it visual. And therefore I think, the value of the data changes. And I'm also looking actually into VR, not necessarily AR, but more VR, to actually see what it can bring to us to make those kinds of visualizations. Maybe if you're in between the data, you can show more dimensions. That's what I think about it. Besides that, it used a lot for marketing stuff, and which is fine and which is fun. But the really cool stuff, of course, is I guess happening in that realm of how do you translate those huge chunks of data into something really valuable and visible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.